Hello everybody, it is April 15th, 2022. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin here and see what's happened since the Monday video. So if you recall, on Monday we were right here at this point, and I said at that time my preference was for the bottom to be in, a temporary bottom, that is, the temporary bottom to be in. And I laid out two scenarios. I wasn't sure exactly which one we were in, all right? The first one was that we already had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down, as you can see in the red count, right? That is possible, and the expectation, if that was correct, would be to see a move up into this higher red box here for a larger degree second wave. This being the first wave because we did 5 waves down, and then bouncing up in a second wave before heading down further to those lower low levels I'm looking for under 33K. The alternative scenario is the same 1, 2, as you can see in orange. We've got 1 and 2, 1 and 2. And then the question was whether 3 ended here in red, or all of this was an extension of 3, as we can see in orange. If that was the case, I was expecting a bounce only into this orange zone here, and then a move further down for an orange 5, followed then by a larger degree bounce up for the second wave, which would then move over here, right? So we were in those two scenarios, basically, kind of between those two scenarios. The action since Monday is not definitive, but it is leaning towards that orange scenario where we still have one more micro leg down. I say it's not definitive because corrective action is incredibly variable, and what we may have here, it's pretty clearly an ABC up, right? But if we push higher, we could very easily have a WXY up into this red zone still. So just because it rejected this orange box doesn't mean necessarily that we are in fact going to this level and that orange count is correct. We still have some more work to do in order for that to play out. But at the moment, that is leaning, or I'm leaning in favor of that scenario, basically. Again, does not really change the longer term, or not long term, but the midterm prospects, which I do believe are pointing us down to sub 33K. So, whether or not we get this low and then the larger second degree bounce, or we get a WXY and do the second degree bounce now, does not change my perspective for the coming weeks and potentially months, I suppose, depending on how long it takes. So anyhow, because we did reject this orange box and we saw a pretty steep rejection right here, I actually went ahead and shorted right in that area. On this spike up today, I went ahead and shorted a little bit more, and I have a stop right above those highs there. So it's a pretty clear risk reward scenario here, right? If we break the highs, I'll stop out, we'll likely go into this red box, and I'll pick up larger shorts in that area. If we proceed downwards to this blue box, I'll take my profit there in the blue box, because I'm considering this a scalp short. So I'll take my profit in that blue box, basically between 36.5 and 37.5. And then I'll look for the higher degree second wave, which likely takes us back up into this kind of low 40K region before we're ready for the next drop down. So those are the two scenarios that I view as most likely, and leaning towards this scenario where we actually see 36.5 to 37.5 first before going up higher. Always possible as well that the red count is in fact the correct one, meaning that's the fifth wave down, and this is actually just a truncated second wave, meaning we didn't even hit that ideal box, that ideal red box. That scenario will come into play if we crash down heavily through that blue box and start making, some lower lows into the low 30s. Then I'll view this as 1 and a little micro 2 basically, and then we'll already be in 3 and then expecting 4 and 5 after that. So just mentioning that as a possibility in case we break below that 36.5K level. So like I said, I'm scalping the short. I will take my profits there. I'll probably leave a tiny bit running on the shorts, but my main play is waiting for the second degree bounce, basically shorting that, hopefully for the third wave down. If that doesn't work out, I'm still sitting in cash anyway. I don't have exposure to Bitcoin right now, so I don't really care what it does. I'm just trying to make some money on the way down until I can buy back in at a more favorable price area. All right, let's see, what else? Main viewpoint on this remains, as I said, that this whole area was corrective orange, W, X, Y, within orange 4, and we still now need to see this orange 5 to finally complete our C wave of the 4 wave, which I've gone over on prior videos, so go back and watch those if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I have been saying for a while now that it really has looked like we needed that fifth wave down. This little break up higher put me into neutral territory where I was no longer really bearish, but I definitely wasn't bullish, and I was just waiting for more information. This move has given us that information, and I do think that it is very likely we see those lower levels now. The alternate scenario would be the bullish one, the only bullish scenario that I can see, which is very quickly becoming not high probability, is that we're in a diagonal, which is what the purple lines are, and that would be a first wave here, second wave here, and then you expect to see 3 waves up to make a third wave, and this third wave must reach this red region. Obviously we've not done that yet, so the only way this is bullish is if this is going to do a move like that and kind of get us up into that region for the third wave. But like I said, the action so far is really not in favor of that. We've gone very deep here. If it was going to do that, I would have expected it to turn up a lot sooner to make that move up. But it is something we need to be aware of, and even though that's the alternate, bullish scenario, it's really not bullish in the long run because it pretty much just ends. We get a third wave up here. We got a big dump down for a fourth wave, so we can go, mid 50s back down to low 40s, and then potentially make one more move up back into that 60, high 60 region, and we may simply do a triple top there. It's hard to say whether or not we actually get any bullish action off of that, but regardless, once this fifth wave is complete, I do expect a breakdown again. And then whether or not that holds, we'll have to see what the longer term prospect becomes after that breakdown happens to see if we're going much lower, or if that signals another run up from there. But that is an alternate scenario that I really don't like, and I hope I don't have to deal with it because it's going to be a pain in the butt. No matter how you look at it. So I am hoping for a breakdown, as I've been saying for months now. I'm hoping for a breakdown. We need to get down below that low, make ourselves a fifth wave lower. If we get a lower low, I really don't care if it truncates. If it just gets slightly below here, that will make me happy. If we can get even into like 31, 32, and then we start pushing up from there, that's fantastic, right? We broke the low, which means we can ignore all of this crap action that's happened for the past couple months, it still is not a guarantee that the bulls are ready to push to 100 at that time. We will still need, whatever low we strike, we still need to see a micro 5-wave impulse in order to be confident that the low is actually in, and then we buy the pullback and put a stop below the low. Right? So that is the golden standard here, basically, that we're looking for in order to confidently buy a bottom, if and when that happens. Finally, I want to point out that this orange scenario, meaning one more lower low here before a larger degree second wave bounce, I would then view this as the first microwave. This is the second microwave down within 5, and from here third wave is likely to go to about 37.7 to 38.2, right in this region here, and then a little bounce, and then a final push down into this 37 to 37.5 region. So that's right to the top of that is where this currently projects, assuming that is the top of wave 2 right there. Obviously that's a lot of assumptions that we have right now, but if we start seeing this break down, those are the targets I'm going to be looking most heavily at. Of course, it can go a little bit further. Obviously, this fifth wave, kind of went a little bit further than the projection said it was going to, so we may see the same thing here, kind of breaking down a little bit below there. But that's where I'm at right now. Again, not impossible that we move up here. That's certainly within the realm of possibilities. But I will view that as a good shorting opportunity. And in the meantime, until we break 41,580, 41,580, I'm viewing this as the most likely short-term target for Bitcoin. Okay, I believe that's everything I have to say, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button, please, if you find my content useful. And the suggested video here is that long-term outlook up to 100 to 130K, kind of explaining the larger picture. All right, everybody, you have a great weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday.